is wet conditions. We all have to wait for the weather to get better, and as a team, we always need to be ready. Race control can tell us with only 10-minute warning that we will resume the race, so we cannot wander too far away from the cars. So as you can see, we were all sitting there on the pit wall for 3 hours, like the spectators. Our mechanics were sitting under the rain for 3 hours, like the spectators. It was a very frustrating situation. We feel sorry for all the fans out there that were waiting with us, sitting under the rain like we were. As them, we all wanted to get going. We all wanted to see a race. It would have been a really good race in the wet had the conditions permitted. But as a team, we just have to be ready for that break in the rain or for that opportunity to race, and that's what we did for 3.5 hours. We just stood there ready to go racing. Okay, so points in F1, of course, if we complete the full race, we get full points. If we complete more than 75% of the race, which is Spa would have been 33 laps, we would have gotten full points. In between 2 laps and 75% of laps of the race, FIA awards half points, which is what happened yesterday. Now, yesterday, after waiting for a long period of time, the cars actually managed to do 3 laps. Now, the classification only shows 1 lap because in the eventuality that we do not finish the race, the classification is taken from the penultimate lap before the red flag. This is done in case there is a big shunt at the end of the race, that the race finishes on the red flag. So to not be unfair for those people involved in the red flag period, you take the classification to a few laps before that. An example that comes to mind was in Brazil in 2003 when Fernando Alonso crashed out of turn 12, and of course the classification was taken from before the accident. Okay, so let's try and dissect what happens when it's wet. When we have a wet track, we have 2 problems. One is that the cars cannot stay on track because there is too much water. So that is what you and I feel when we're driving our cars on the road. And for that, Pirelli offers us intermediate tires when there is some water, and extreme tires for when there is a lot of standing water, so that these tires can clear a lot of water. The second problem, which is much more of a Formula One or single-seater problem, is the spray. These cars generate an awful amount of downforce, and so as they go, they are basically acting as a hoover on the track, and they lift all this water off of the track onto the air, and these air particles remain there for quite a large amount of time. Cars following other cars are just driving through this wall of particles of water. They don't see anything. So visibility was the biggest problem yesterday at Spa, and race control had a very tough call there, because no matter how much it rained, no matter even if it stopped raining for a long period of time, there would have been a lot of standing water on track, and this visibility problem was not going to go away. Race control gave it two attempts, one half an hour after the initial race start, and then about 3 hours later they tried to go twice with the safety car and the cars behind. But of course you could hear all the race drivers on the radio saying it's fine for driving, but I cannot see anything. And the fact that drivers could not see anything was, I think, why race control took the right decision to keep everyone safe and not race yesterday.